All right, what is up, world? It's your boy Michel Valbrun, aka Money Making Mitch, and welcome to the Money Mastery, building a profitable and successful business. Wow, you guys are in for a treat. We are going to talk about all things finance, business, when it comes to creating your own small business. And for some of you, this might be your first business that you're working on. You probably had other businesses in the past, but I want to quickly make sure that we're all on the same page of what you need to do when it comes to finances and how to master and really generate that cash flow. Learn all the basics that you need and even some advanced tactics as well, what you need to do in order to make money, save money on taxes, and all that great stuff. So let's get into it. So overview of pretty much everything we're going to talk about, and it's going to be broken up into modules. So as you can see here, the first module is going to be keeping your business in business. So I'm going to talk to you all about how to maintain that profitability. What are some of the business finances that you need to know, those basics, how to get credit, how to master your cash flow to make sure you're always having money come in and out the business, and just some really amazing tips, things that probably would cost you $5,000, $10,000 to work with a consultant to be able to get that kind of information. I'm going to break that all down for you. Then we're going to go take a deep dive into taxes. So I'm going to talk about all the ways and all different tax strategies that you can use to really lower your tax bill and, really put you in a good position financially when it comes to taxes. Then I'm going to talk about entity selection. So for those of you who are trying to decide, I don't know if I should become an LLC. What's an LLC? Should I do S Corp corporation? Should I just stay a sole proprietor? Should I get in a partnership? All those good things. I'm going to talk about all of that, talk about the pros and cons and what you need to know in order to be successful. And last but not least, I'm going to have a bonus module as well, just to make sure you guys are on the right path before you leave. And I'm going to teach you 10 business mistakes you do not want to make. So you definitely want to make sure you stay tuned and check that module out as well. So let's get into module number 1, business finance and cash flow mastery. I'm going to try to run through this as quickly as possible to make sure that you guys get the most value. Feel free to pause it, go back, and you can always reach out to me later afterwards. So I'm going to share with you my contact information as well. So before we get into it, let me introduce myself. So for those of you who don't know, who the heck is this guy? Why should we listen to? Why should we care? Who is Michel? Well, my name, as I've already mentioned, my name is Michel Valbrun. I am a CPA, which stands for Certified Public Accountant. I'm a business and tax strategist. I also go by Money Making Mitch. I love the movie Paid in Full. Not sure if you guys are familiar, but there's a character in that movie named Money Making Mitch, and I just loved that character, and it just fit very well with my name. So I just love making money, so it was a perfect match. So I'm a business expert, tax strategist, and as a certified public accountant, I've worked with many small business owners and individuals to help them lower their tax bill and increase their revenue. I'm the founder of the consultancy firm, the Valbrun Group, and have served clients across the country and have been featured in various media outlets such as Business News Daily, the AICPA, which is a highly regarded accounting magazine, probably one of the highest regarded accounting magazines, The Street, which is run by, I believe, the gentleman Jim Cramer. So if you watch, some of those, he's on CNN, NBC, and he talks about stocks, Diversity Inc., and others, marking myself as a business authority. So needless to say, you guys are in good hands. I'm going to give you guys all the sauce, all the juice, all the tea, everything that you need to make sure you are successful. So let's get into it. And before every module, I want to put out this disclaimer. I have to put it in plain black and white, and I'm going to read it off as so. So disclaimer, this training is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute a legal or professional advice. You are encouraged to consult with a licensed tax professional, enrolled agent, or CPA if you have specific questions relating to any of the topics covered in this presentation. So I got to make sure I say that again. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm just giving you general information so you know what to do in regards to this stuff. But again, you need to make sure that you contact either someone in your circle, or you can reach out to me because I am a CPA and I can give you some of that business specific information one-on-one, because I don't know your particular exact situation, and there some of this stuff is going to change based on your unique situation. So you just keep that in mind. So let's get into it. Where do most people go wrong when it comes to finances? When most people start making money with their businesses, but they do not keep things clean and organized. And this is like an accountant's worst nightmare. They have receipts everywhere, expenses on personal and business accounts, and they have no idea what their profit is. All right, so it's a nightmare for tax professionals like myself because, and it's also a nightmare for business owners because you just don't know what's going on with your business. You're making money, you're cool, you're happy, you're excited, but you don't even know if you're profitable. You can make $1 million in revenue, but if you're spending, 15 or 1.5 million to get that 1 million, it doesn't mean anything, right? Because you're probably using a whole bunch of debt and doing some other things that you shouldn't be doing in order to make that revenue. So you want to make sure you're tracking that and you want to make sure everything's organized. Most people don't know how accounting works and they misjudge their earnings, taxes, etc. We're going to talk all about that. So I want to make sure you guys are not in this position once you really start making that money. All right, most people leave accounting to the last minute when they're forced to file taxes, and at that time it takes them 2 to 3 weeks to figure everything out. This is not only irresponsible, but it's stressful and time consuming, again, for that tax professional or whoever is working on your taxes. Some of you may feel comfortable working on your own taxes. I highly recommend that you begin working with a professional as you begin working on your business. So, but you want to make, if things are disorganized, it's going to be very difficult for whoever's working with you to be able to filter and work through everything. And most people believe that all the magic is in selling and marketing of things and not financial management. And this is not true. The smartest and the most successful business people master both. So you have to master both. Yes, you know how to sell. Yes, you learned about how to market all your goods or products or services or offers, whatever it is that you're selling, but you want to make sure that financial management piece is intact. So it's very, very key that you do that. All right, most people spend the money they make on personal expenses like cars, TV, alcohol, vacations, etc. While this may give you short-term gratification, it will deliver you long-term pain. There's actually a smarter way to live. And this is an important note to make because, once you start making that money, some of y'all may come in and you guys may start making hundreds, even thousands of dollars, with your business, which is awesome. And the first thing that you want to do is buy, the fancy car, the TVs, and live it up, for the gram. But in reality, it's actually only hurting you because you're not able to reinvest that money into your business. Yes, once you get to a certain level and you make a certain amount of money, yeah, you could splurge a little bit. You can spend some money, but you don't want to make it a habit. All right, so financial basics for running a business. So make sure you register your business officially and operate as a company and not an individual. Very, very important. We're going to talk about how to pick that entity, but I just want to introduce the concept of making sure that you register your business. You are no longer working or doing transactions as an individual. The business is going to be a living, breathing, legally it's going to be a living, breathing, not necessarily human, but it's going to be a separate entity, which has its own taxes, which behaves, has its own address, all those things. So that's the way you want to see your business. All right, you want to make sure, on that note, you want to make sure you have 2 separate bank accounts. So you want to have a personal checking and savings, and you also want to have a business checking and savings. You also want to make sure that you have 2 separate debit and credit cards, personal card and business card. So make sure you do that. I'm going to talk about how to get business credit later on in this module. You cannot just straight up walk up to any company or any business and apply for it because you will get turned down. I'm going to show you the steps that you need to do in order to make sure you're able to get that business credit. You also want to make sure you put all your business expenses on the business card and account and all the personal expenses on the personal card and account. So again, going back to that separation, making sure you're separating everything out. You want to use financial statements and budgets to manage your business. I'm going to talk to you about what those financial statements are, what they look like, the ones that you need to know, and just a high level what those things mean. And you want to work with professionals. Again, it's super, super key as you are getting into this business and you're starting to make some good money. You want to begin working with professionals, CPAs, attorneys, bankers, mentors, coaches, etc. It's very, very important that you do that. Whenever you sign up for anything business related, use your business email and store receipts in the receipt folder. So make sure you do that. Keep all of your physical business receipts and store them in a dedicated drawer. So that's going to be important as you begin making and doing business transactions. You want to make sure you're keeping your receipts. So the meals, if you're parking at an event, if you are buying supplies at a physical store, you want to make sure you're keeping all those receipts and you're storing them in a dedicated drawer. All right. And you want to keep it simple and minimal. Only use one card, one account. You want to really deal with one merchant when it comes to collecting money, like a Stripe or a Shopify or whatever, and one email. So the less is better. The less you have, the easier it is for you to manage everything. Okay. And there's gonna be instances. Don't get me wrong. There's gonna be instances where you may need to use more than one, but as minimum as you can keep it, the better it's gonna be for you. All right. Then you want to check your account daily. And I know that may sound intimidating for some of you, but you want to look at that thing every single day and always keep a realistic view on your financial position. Okay? Keep all of your business receipts and store them in an email folder or drawer. Kind of talked about that. And when you make money, just let it sit in the business account. Don't move it. Don't spend it. Just keep stacking up. All right, then you want to learn to see your money as a war chest, and that's there to help you make even more money, not to buy things. So going back to the buying the TVs and the cars and the vacation, no, you don't want to do that. As your business starts making money, you want to see that money that it's making as a way to make more money. You want to create a money making machine, and if you're spending money on those kind of things, it's not going to make you any money. You want to see it as, okay, you've built up a certain amount of money and you're like, yes, I've just made $1,000. I just made another $5,000, whatever that money is. You want to use that money and say, okay, how can I make this money grow even faster, make even more money? And that's how you really, really begin to create these $1 million businesses. All right. And just keep in mind, poor people buy fancy cars so they can look rich. Smart people reinvest the money in their business so they actually can be rich. So accounting basics that you need to know, some must know terms. I want you guys to be knowledgeable out here in the market when you're speaking to an accountant, when you're speaking to a bank, when you're speaking to whoever about your business. I want you guys to have a basic understanding of these things. Very simple concepts. Most of you probably know them, but if you don't, here they are. So sales, also called income, revenue. Those are interchangeable. For the most part, they mean the same thing. And that's the total amount from selling your product or service during a certain period of time. Okay? Next, you are going to have what they call cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. So total expenditure for inventory items which customers buy. It consists of the cost of purchasing the items, freight, manufacturing costs, all those good things that come with delivering a product. So if let's say that you are doing something like drop shipping or anything that requires a physical product, that's going to be your cost of goods sold. However much that product costs you, that's going to be your cost of goods sold. And you want to manage and track that. Then you're going to have your gross profit, which is sales minus cost of goods sold. Then with the gross profit, you're going to have you're going to have your fixed costs, so your overhead. So expenses associated with your ongoing business operations, such as rent or utilities. These are going to be costs that pretty much do not change. They pretty much stay consistent every month. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are trying to keep those as low as possible. The great thing about an internet business and an online business is that you can keep those things relatively low, which is awesome. So the only real overhead that you're going to have is maybe like the website domain or some other things that you kind of just need in order to maintain your business. Next is going to be net profit, which is going to be gross profit less overhead. Net profit is what remains to pay for expansion, equipment, loan repayment, income taxes, and owner's draw. So when you're pulling out money from your account, that's what you have in order to do all those things, to reinvest in your business. There goes a simple formula for you visual learners out there so that you can see it. So you have your sales, cost of goods sold. Some people even call it COGS. Just a fun tip. And then gross profit, overhead, net profit. Cool. Okay. So financial statements. I told you it's very important to have financial statements. Want to quickly introduce the most important financial statements that you need to be aware of. So you have your balance sheet. The balance sheet essentially is a snapshot of your business's financial standing at a given moment. It's assets, liabilities, and equity. So assets minus liabilities is equity, which means how much money your business has left over. And it's used to calculate your net worth for your business. So maintaining a balanced balance sheet, one in which total assets, everything you own, equals liabilities plus equity, is the foundational tenet of basic bookkeeping. So very, very important that you understand that. Then you're gonna have your income statement, sometimes called P&L, profit and loss statement. And your income statement summarizes your business revenues and expenses over the course of a year, allowing you to calculate your net profit or loss for that year. Maintaining an accurate income statement is critical to determining that break-even point for your business, as well as measuring profitability. So very, very important statement, and probably the one that you're going to use probably more often than not outside of the cash flow statement. So the balance sheet, it's going to be for more of the more advanced businesses, but you still want to be familiar with that. And then you're going to have your cash flow statement, which reflects the inflow of revenue and outflow of expenses resulting from all your business activities during a specified period of time, usually in a month or a financial quarter. And inflow will come from selling goods and products, receiving payments, while outflows comes from things like purchasing equipment, all those kind of things. So not going to get into detail about this stuff. I could have a whole module about it, but just want to at least quickly introduce those things, those topics to you, right? But if you have questions, feel free to contact me. Financial discipline, rules to live by each day. So keep track of your monthly income and expenses at all times so that you can forecast things and know your true financial position so that you can make better investment decisions. And you're going to do this with the financial tracking sheet. And I've created this financial tracking sheet for you so you guys know what you need to do here. So as you can see, here's a little preview of it, and we're going to get into it in detail. So this is going to be your financial tracking sheet. And as you can see here, it's pretty much for the whole year. All right. So this shows you a summary of the whole year of, this is going to be similar to like the income statement, in some more like a cash flow statement. And what you're going to see here is this is going to be on this column is going to be your product or your service that you're selling, the price that you're selling it for. And then you want to write down here how many sales do you have, and you can obviously have more. So let's say you have a $3,000 digital marketing product. You made 3 sales in January, or you expect to make 3 sales in January. Boom, 9,000. You have this right here, 5,000, more advanced version of that digital marketing. You did 1, cool. You got $5,000, right? So the total expected for the month is 14,000. Then you have all your expenses here. Right, so we have the total of the expenses. Then we have our net cash flow, which is just the difference of these two, the income and expenses. Then you have your opening balance. Okay, so this is how much money you made in that month, or in the beginning of the month. And then you have your closing statement, which just adds these two up. And then obviously this closing balance is going to be your opening balance for the next month. And then you want to actually record actuals as well. And then what you can do is you can compare how well you did with your expected with your actuals. So very, very important that you do that. You want to do that every month. This is really all you really need when you're starting off, okay? And if you're able to present this to an accountant, a CPA, anyone who's doing your taxes, they will literally pass out, because no one does this. Like literally, let me not say no one does this. Like most people don't do this. Successful business people, good clients, they do all this kind of stuff. They kind of keep these kind of detailed records. But if you want to come off as professional, which is what I'm trying to get you guys to be seen as and become, you want to do this, right? You want to track all your finances in the spreadsheet here. All right, so let's get back into it. Okay, so getting back at it, financial tracking sheet, we talked about that. So you want to also do some corporate rating of your own business. And what I mean by that is that most people get lazy when if their business and let expenses and complexity stack up over time. This means that their business gets flabby, inefficient, and not driven to its full potential. It's bound to happen. So you want to keep track of all your finances in your business using the financial tracking sheet, which I showed you, and it's going to be provided in the resources. This will show you all the expenses and income and month-to-month performance. And every few months, you want to spend a day or two going over your business financials in detail, looking for any areas where you can trim expense and make sure it's more efficient. Do this to your personal expenses too. So even with your personal finances, you also want to make sure that's on point too. Anything to look for is an asset. Another thing to look for is our assets. So assets are things that you or your business own that are worth money. So things like cars, TVs, stereos, computers, electronics. So look around in your house as well, okay? And there are probably things that you're not using where you could probably put on eBay, Craigslist, OfferUp, all those things. And instead of just selling those things and just stashing, using that to buy stuff, you can use that extra money and reinvest in your business. You always want to look for ways to continue reinvesting in your business. Very, very important. And you always review what assets you and your business have, and if they're not being liquidated, which means if you're not selling them, and use them as cash to feed the income generating activities so that you can make more money, right? Which is what I said. So a mindset shift, for you. All right. So instead of seeing your business as a tool to make you money, learn to see it as a tool to make money so that it can keep making more money. Cycle the funds through a feedback loop and scale it up. All right. And a couple of other strategies to create that positive cash flow, keep having money coming through your business. You want to increase the number of items you sell, obviously, increase the price of items, reduce expenses, change the timing of expenses. You want to save money to have significant opening cash to get through that startup period. You want to obtain sources of cash from other funds like line of credits, which I'm going to talk about. And you want to reduce the amount of draws that you're taking out of your business. Also, you want to research vendor options for buying inventory at a lower price if you are selling products or obtaining credit from vendors, and establish good policies to get paid sooner from customers. So sometimes a lot of small business owners, what I see them do is they may get a whole bunch of clients, but they don't have a really good policy or procedure to say, hey, I need this money within a few days, within a few hours, within whenever, right? So they're not very clear up front, and that's going to slow you down with cash flow. So business accounting software stack. So these are the business accounting software that you need. So with cash flows, forecast budgets, all you really need is that financial tracking sheet. For accounting software to manage your books, you want to make sure you get QuickBooks or Xero, or there's also FreshBooks as well. And then for receipt management, remember what I told you to keep all your receipts. You also want to use an app that's called Shoebox. Literally all you got to do is, it's an app you could take photos of the receipts, and then you also want to physically keep those receipts as well. Okay, so let's get into business credit. I told you, kept telling you about the business credit piece, and this business credit piece is super, super key. Like I said, there are companies out here who literally will charge you thousands to teach you what I'm about to teach you. You are about to get it included in this program, so congratulations on being able to get this information. So here we go. Here are the 3 steps that you need to do. Build business credibility, get business credit reports, and get initial credit. So that first step, here's what you need to do. You want to make sure you have a professional email address and a website. So don't use a Yahoo account, Gmail account, AOL, Hotmail, none of that stuff, okay? And I know you guys are getting started, and you may feel and you've been able to do business with those things, which is fine. But when it comes to getting business credit, you want to start using coming up with that professional email address. So if you have the website, which you should, you pretty much do need the website. So once you have a website, you can use that website name to create an email account. So it could be contact at your website name. You also want to make sure you have a physical business address. So the virtual home address can also work. I wouldn't recommend doing the home address because they'll notice that, but don't use a PO box or one of those UPS address boxes when it comes to business credit. Okay. And then you also want to make sure you have a business phone number as well. And this just makes sure, and this all they do as part of the credit reporting process is they want to look at this stuff to make sure that you're a legit business, that you're for real doing business. And if you are, then you have all this stuff in place. But if you don't, you want to make sure you do it so they can see that you're truly in business. Next, you want to get business credit reports. So you want to get set up with the business reporting agencies by first seeing if you have a profile established with them. If you're just getting started, more likely than not, you won't have it, but you just want to check and see. You want to get your DUNS number, so DUNS number with Dun and Bradstreet. Very important number. You can look that up in detail if you want to learn more, or you can reach out to me and you want to fix inaccuracies and derogatory items. And then you want to get your initial credit. All right, so you want to use starter vendors. I'm going to tell you what those starter vendors are who will give you initial credit even if you have no business credit history. You also want to look for vendors who offer net 30 terms, which means that they will allow you to purchase items that you can pay back within 30 days. You'll need to find vendors who do report to business credit reporting agencies. Okay, so we have our personal, we have companies that report to the personal credit, but there's other but vendors have a whole different agency that they report to when it comes to business. So you want to make sure you look at that. And then 5 of these accounts must be reporting before you get revolve store credit. So before you can even start looking at the Targets, the Amazons, the Home Depot, Staples, whatever other business credit cards you've been considering, you want to make sure that you at least have 5 accounts that are reporting to these agencies on a monthly basis. So here it goes. There's levels to it, as you can see. So the first level really is you want to get what they call a line of credit. And companies that typically do this are the 4 most popular I could think of are FedEx, Uline, Granger, and Quill. And they typically, and they have like office supplies, FedEx you're familiar with. But you want to start with them because they usually allow you to open up a line of credit without having any credit score, any credit history, or anything like that. So you want to make sure you work with them. You want to do that for a couple of months, okay? So once you do that for a couple of months, I would say about 3 to 4 months, then you can look into opening up a card with maybe a Borders, Office Depot, Staples. They may give you a little bit more, and they at that time they should be able to approve it. Now, what you'll notice is that they may say something like, "Oh, you need to be in business for 3 years." But listen, what they don't tell you is all they really want to see is that you have credit history, that you've been working with different vendors, that you've been paying things on time and building that credit score. Once you do that, then the doors will open. But you can't just try to rush the process. You can't just come in there, like I said, knock on Office Depot's door. Hey, let me get the business credit. They're not going to give it to you. Okay? Then you want to go ahead and move on to getting credit with Dell. Okay? And Dell is going to give you a huge credit limit. And once you get approved with Dell, you pretty much can start getting approved of anyone. Okay? And that's going to be like maybe like a more like a 6-month move that you're going to get to try to reach out to Dell. And once you get with Dell, then you can start getting the Bank of America cards, the Amex Gold cards, all those good things. So that is the order that you need to be doing these kind of things in. Okay, so moving on, we talked about this. And okay, 5 key points to remember. So number 1, financing is getting money that you need to start your business, operate, or grow your business. Before borrowing money for your business, develop a business plan to help you determine whether your business can afford a loan. If you need to borrow money, take time to comparison shop for the best loan option. Didn't talk about this in a lot of detail, but really you just want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to having your business, and that you are strategically thinking about how much your business is going to make. So when you're doing those expected for the months, those expected numbers for the month. You would have that planned out for the year just so you know where your business is going. All right. Number 2, you want to start financial management with a budget. Number 3, you want to have sound bookkeeping because it's the basis for all financial management. You want to have cash flow projections, which will help you see cash shortages, even when accrual accounting may mask these shortages. Accrual accounting is pretty much what's used for the income statement. We didn't talk about that in detail, but like I said, if you want to ask me about it, we can talk about what that means. Your profit and loss statement is the best tool for knowing if your business is profitable. All right. So there you go. That was the module. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, looking forward for you guys to getting more awesome information. Trust me, this was kind of high level. I gave you some good information, but we're going to get into more and more awesome tips and tricks. So anyways, I'll talk to you later, and you guys take care. Bye.